I recently played through Fable, the first game, for the very first time, and it was actually really, really good. So, Fable is one of those games that I've always seen throughout the years. I believe it was on the back of one of the Xbox boxes when you would buy the original Xbox. It would show some of the cover art on the back of the Xbox, and I think it was like the later models, obviously, because this game wasn't released until 2004. But I remember watching my cousins and my uncle play through Fable. I don't know if it was the first one or if it was the second or third one. I think it was the first one. But I remember watching them play through Fable, and I always thought, wow, this looks like a fun game, like something that I would like. They're going around fighting monsters and bandits and sometimes occasionally soldiers. But I just never played it, because growing up I wasn't really that much into RPGs, not as much as my friends were. I didn't get into RPGs until later down in my life, which I am glad I finally play this game now. I think I'm able to appreciate it more for what it is as an adult than I would have been as a child, because this game for 2004 is really, really good, and I'm not sure there was even games out at the time that were even remotely close to this, because Fable's a banger. Fable was developed by Big Blue Box Studios, which they're a part of Lionhead Studios, and it was published by Microsoft Studios back in 2003. And once again, I always am very wary to share sales figures because I get varying numbers when I check different websites and whatnot. But according to the internet, this one has sold around 3 million copies worldwide. Jumping into Fable now in 2025. This game is definitely old, and it feels old too, but I like it. It is a very nostalgic feeling. I don't even know how to explain it because it feels like a 2000s PC game, plays like one, but it was really, really fun, and there were some things that I saw in there that I thought were just ahead of its time. The graphics aren't anything to write home about. Sometimes the characters look pretty gross. They're very stiff when they're talking. Your weapons, anyway, can be comically huge compared to your character. So there's just some little silly things like that. I don't know if I experienced any glitches or anything like that. I think the game is pretty solid as far as that goes. I thought the combat wasn't really anything to write home about either. It's pretty basic of just swinging. There is a dodge button and a block button. I both love and hate. One of the problems with the block button is if you're holding the block button but then move the thumbstick, move your character, he rolls. And so I can't block and be moving at the same time. If you block, you need to stand still, because if you are holding block and then you move, you're rolling. So it's not terrible. It's fine, I guess. It's just an older game mechanic, and one of those things where I'm just used to modern games as far as being able to block and move at the same time, and the roll button is something completely different. But where this game does shine, I feel, is in the character creation, as far as how to build your character. So we'll start with the character itself. There's lots of different customizations you can do, from your hair to facial hair. You can get a mustache, you can get a beard, you can get tattoos on your character. You can get different types of armor sets, which are super cool. There's assassin's armor, there's chainmail, there's bandit outfits, there's dark armor you can get. I even found a chicken head from doing a side quest, so that was hilarious. So there's lots of different ways to customize your character. And then on top of that, you've got tons of different swords to mess with. You've got swords and hammers and axes and maces. And then you've got different bows and crossbows. Lots of different things to mess with there. You've got augmentations that you can put on your weapons, which gives you can get flame on your weapon, or lightning, or bleed, or silver, which does more damage against, I believe, the undead and werewolves and things like that. So there's lots of different things to do there with your character customization. And then you go into leveling up your character. You've got different categories to level up. You've got strength, obviously. You've got speed. You've got ability to aim your arrows with your archer. You've got your sneak ability. You've got your health. And then we go into the mana side of things, which there are so many spells in this game. And that became probably one of my favorite parts about it, obviously, on top of building my character and kind of how much freedom I had there. There were so many different spells to use. I believe there's 19 in the game, and some of my favorites was you could throw a fireball, you can shoot lightning out of your hand like Darth Sidious, you've got a force push, which is literally called force push, you've got a life steal, you can heal yourself, you can become like stone for like an armor, which only lasts one attack, but it reminds me a lot of The Witcher 3. One of those abilities in The Witcher 3 you have is the same. You put a shield around yourself for one attack. You've got another attack where you smash the ground and fire comes up and around. There's like a weird pentagram seance thing that you can do, and it sucks the life out of different enemies that are around you. So there's lots of different abilities to use here, and it was a ton of fun. Like the magic system was very, very cool. Very easy to understand too. You just have a mana bar and you've got all these different spells, and that's what it is. What I didn't like, and maybe it's just because I'm stupid and couldn't figure out how to map the different spells, but all of my spells were only mapped to B. So you have to hold the trigger and then tap B to cycle through all your different spells, because you can only have one equipped at a time. And it was very annoying. What I learned is that you can swap spells in and out, right? Because there's 19 of them, and I think there's only 9 or 10 slots. What I probably should have done looking back is only equipped like 3 or 4 spells that I use constantly, and then see if the empty slots go away, and then it's just cycling through those. Yeah, anyway, that was the spell system. I think that it could have been done better. I don't know if like a magic wheel or something like that would have helped. Honestly, if I could have mapped different spells to different buttons, that would have helped too. But for all the inputs that this game has to deal with, I mean, I think that it did a pretty good job. So yeah, it's got a really fun magic system that I messed with a ton of. And I would say the character customization is probably one of my favorite parts about this. But then we go into all of the different collectibles that you have. You've got these silver keys that you use to open up these chests with numbers on them, and I believe there's 30 silver keys you can collect. Then you've got these demon doors that all require you to do some specific task. I didn't do as many of these. In the very beginning, I decided I wanted to do all of them, but then after I opened up a few of them, and some of the items were like, oh, here's a weapon augmentation, which is cool, but like not that cool. One of them I did open up. I got a full set of armor, which I really liked. So what you do to open some of these is like one required me to shoot one of the demon doors in the face with an arrow. Another one requires you to get fat, which is another fun part about this game, is you can get fat by eating just a bunch of food. But yeah, I ended up just looking up all the items that you can get behind demon doors, and some of them, I mean, I don't know, I'd probably say most of them aren't really that cool. Really, if all of them had armor sets behind them, yeah, I would have been way more apt to opening and finding all of the demon doors and unlocking them all. So, I mean, and I don't think any of them are like super crazy to do, like the puzzles to solve and whatnot, so I don't know. If I ever go back, maybe I'll go through and do all the demon doors. But I spent about 16 hours in this game, which honestly was like, it felt good. It felt good spending that amount of time. Where it didn't feel good was like the last probably hour and a half of the game. Like the end game just felt like it kept going on and on and on. Because there's a part where you fight the Jack of Blades, who's like the main bad guy. You fight his body form. And it was kind of an annoying fight, because like the first phase was all right, and then the second phase, he's like floating in the middle of the room, and he just kept blasting me with spells. And I had so many potions at this point, and I burned through all of them, and finally killed him, because all I was doing was spamming spells right back. I don't know if that's how I was supposed to fight him, but that's what I did. And then after that, like, you kill him there, and you think it's the end of the game, but it's not. You keep going. You probably have another 2 hours after that. And then you fight Jack of Blades again, which it's like his true form, and he's a dragon, which it was honestly an easier fight. The dragon was cool, but like, I don't know. It felt like pretty lackluster. I didn't think Jack of Blades was really that cool of a villain. But the kind of the story goes is you're a kid, you're in a village, Jack of Blades comes through and terrorizes your village, kills your dad, kidnaps your mom and your sister, and then a mage by the name of Maze shows up, and he takes you to this academy, this like magic academy. And that's where you go from there. You start as a kid, then you go on quests, and you get older, and then you go out, and you pretty much are free to roam the world doing different quests for people. And it is just a straight up RPG at that point. There is some little cool story moments here and there, I would say. I'm not going to really spoil anything here, but there is a betrayal that I thought was kind of interesting that happens towards the end of the game, and then you end up fighting this character. But there's lots of different areas to go to. You've got like this haunted foresty place that you go to. You've got snow places, you've got swamps. I mean, there's just lots of different places to visit on this map. The map's honestly pretty big, and I ended up, well, in order to discover new places, you have to walk there, and then after you find a portal in certain areas, then you can fast travel pretty much at any time. You can fast travel wherever you want, whenever you want, which, I mean, it makes doing quests a lot easier. There's a lot of collectible quests, obviously. There's lots of fetch quests for people. Kill these things. And here's another really cool mechanic that I thought was, this game was just ahead of its time, is you can be good or you can be bad. So I would do quests for people. Like, I would go do a quest for a bad person, like a bandit. He would pay me, and I would kill the bandit. So it's like I'm being bad, but also getting rid of the bad person. So you have different, like, when you do quests for bad people, you get, like, your reputation for, like, doing evil things goes up. And if you do quests for good people, your reputation for that goes up. And one of the first quests you do as a kid is if you walk around a building, you see this guy and this girl flirting, and they're, like, hugging. And then you walk up, and he's like, oh, no, don't tell my wife that I'm cheating on her. I immediately went from that, beelined it, and found his wife and told her that she was cheating on him. And then I followed her back, like it was across town. I followed her from where she was all the way back to where this dude was. Anyway, it was pretty funny that there's just stuff like that. You know, you can do good or evil. I did mostly good in this, so I had like a halo above me. And I definitely think this game warrants a second playthrough. Maybe even a third where you're good and bad, but you could do one where you're good, do one where you're bad, and maybe try the neutral playthrough. I don't really know. There's tons of different quests to do, lots of things to mess with, and even towards the end of the game, like you have the decision to be good and banish the powers of evil, or you can take on the powers of evil and become that evil villain guy. There's lots of different games to mess with too. Like you could play blackjack against a guy. There was, like, when you go to different areas, you can find a dude that's usually sitting at like one of the pubs, and he's got some sort of game that you can play. And I played a lot of those games, and it was pretty fun. There's lots of achievements you can get to, which this is Fable Anniversary, by the way, that I played. I don't know how much different this one is from the original, but there is a sticker book, which is just your achievements that you can fill up by doing various things. And that was kind of fun to go through and do stuff like that. I thought the music was really good. I mean, it's fantasy music, and I really, really liked it. And honestly, I had such a fun time playing through Fable, and I'm excited to play through Fable 2 and 3 eventually. I don't know if I'll get to them this year, just because I already have a long list of games I'm currently wanting to get through this year, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to get through them all this year, because we're already into August, and I probably have 20 plus games left to go, and some of them are pretty big RPGs. But anyway, going back to Fable, this game was fun. It had this nostalgic early 2000s feel with a surprising amount of content for you to sink your teeth into, and I thought it was really, really good. And honestly, my 16 hours probably could have doubled if I did even more exploration and tried to do all of the side quests and everything under the sun that this game has to offer. But some of them are just like long, drawn-out quests where you have to collect every book in the game and give to the teacher. You have to collect every doll in the game and give to the teacher. Some of the quests I did were bugged, where I would complete the quest, get the item, and the quest would still be popped up on my quest book saying that I didn't complete it. And then there was another quest that I couldn't even accept. So I don't know if that was bugged or if that was like a time-sensitive quest that I just didn't accept and do in time, or if it was like hero or villain sensitive. It doesn't really explain it. And I mean, that's probably another thing that this game probably suffers from. Just it's old, and sometimes there's too much information, and sometimes there's not enough information. And there's lots of different menuing issues that I have. Like opening up the menu and having to cycle through and scroll through everything it's just a lot. It's a lot. I mean, I don't know how they could have done it better back in 2004. Like, it was very functional. Don't get me wrong. But once again, comparing something like this and the quest book and everything in there to, you know, some modern games that just do menuing better, I guess. So I don't know. It's when you have a game like this that has a lot of inputs, it's tough to get around. It takes something like Elden Ring, where on a controller to do other inputs, you have to hold the Y button, which holding the Y button pulls up like a second menu of inputs for you to do. So it doubles your inputs that you can have. So I don't know. Maybe Fable could have done something like that. I don't really know. But overall, this game was really fun. Like, I would say that this obviously isn't the greatest RPG I've ever played, but for 2004, this is a pretty banger game. I enjoyed it. I'd probably give this like an 8 out of 10, probably. If I played it back in 2004 as an adult, I probably would have gave it a 10 out of 10. But yeah, I don't know. I've played better games and was still impressed with this one. So that is Fable Anniversary. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are down in the comments below. Let me know if you played this game back in 2004 or if you only recently gotten into it. And let me know if you're excited for the new Fable that is going to come out. Who knows when? It's been in development hell for who knows how long. But anyway, I can safely say that I am a fan of Fable now, and I'm excited to jump into Fable 2 and 3. Thank you guys for watching, and as always, keep it rad.